Hello. Hi. Hi, ladies. I decided, since I was coloring again, that I would invite you guys to join me. So, tonight I feel like ice cream. So, I thought I would color up some ice cream cones from our Ice Cream Monster set. I don't know if you guys have seen this set. It came out last year, maybe November, I think. And I just love this ice cream cone. Oh, you're diamond painting tonight? Well, good. You can paint and I'll color and we can visit. So this set right here, it comes with the dies. I pulled the ice cream cone die out. It fits perfectly. Super awesome. But this set was actually designed by me. So, but I love this ice cream cone because you can do it so many different colors that I thought it would be fun to show a few interesting colors tonight. So we're gonna do purple and a blue-green and a pinkish color. So we're gonna have a strawberry, and then we're gonna have a cotton candy-ish, and then we're gonna have purple because it's my favorite color. So I thought we'd start out doing one at a time with the different colors, of course. And this is the colors I'm going to start out with. So this is the purple, BV08, V09, V17, V15, and V04. And then I'm going to use V00 to build some lines in here on the ice cream before I get started, just to keep myself aligned up. Hey, Mom. So, and of course our colorless blender always handy in case we have any mistakes. So I'm going to set these two ice cream cones aside, and I'm going to zoom in a bit. Maybe. Haha. There we go. So you guys can see. And as I use the markers, I'll put the cap color right here so you'll know what color I'm on. This ice cream cone is going to match my fingernails when I get done, I think. Hi, Mickey. So I want to start out by putting some lines in here so I know where I want the ice cream to curve. And maybe I'll show you a sample so you know what I'm talking about. So this one that I have is not the color we're doing tonight, but it is one that I have handy. So I thought maybe I'll show that. So see how the ice cream kind of folds here in these? I'm going to draw them in with this V00 just so I can keep the guideline while I'm working. So just going to take from this edge to this edge. So the artist, well, me, I kind of gave you these little bumps here to show you where the ice cream folds. I don't know if you guys have a Dairy Queen where you're at, but I love Dairy Queen, and they have their ice cream folds like this. So I love Dairy Queen. It's my favorite. So it's hard to see, and it's really, really light. Hi, Daddy. And Dana. Look at all you guys hanging out with me tonight. So it's really, really super light in there, just to kind of give me the guidelines. You won't be able to see that once I start coloring, but I wanted those guidelines in there just to make sure. So I'm going to start with my darkest shade, which is BV08. And I'm going to color around the edges to show that they're curved and a little bit of depth to them. So I'm going to just come around with these light brush strokes. And along the bottom, because of course the ice cream is going to hang over the cone. And then from this side in a bit. And if it makes it easier for you when you're doing it, I'll show you how to build a fence around your your edges so you don't color off the edges, although we do have our dies, so that helps as well. Hi, Doris. So you can build like a little fence here like this, and then you can do your flicks out from that, and that'll kind of give you a little bit of a cushion so you don't go outside the lines, because this color's pretty dark, so if you go outside the lines, it's gonna be a bit challenging to push that back in. And then I'm gonna make my brush strokes match the direction of the way that my ice cream is going to go. I was feeling ice cream tonight, so I thought, why not color some ice cream cones? So like this. And you could stay on one side if you wanted. Just kind of build my little fence here so I don't go outside the lines. Then some brush strokes in here. And then I'm going to come around this side and do the same thing. Build a little fence there. And then make my brush strokes go. And the same thing here. And I'm not really going to put much right here just because the light would actually be hitting it there. And same thing on this one. I'm only going to go up partially. And then right in here where it's folded over, just going to put a little bit in there like this. So that'll start us off. With the second color, hi Carrie. With the second color, I want to make sure I put these caps on the right ends. Not that there is a right end, but one of mine will have a little bit of dirty in it and the other one doesn't, and I want to put them on the same so it makes it easier for cleaning them. So the next color is V09, and I'm just going to go over and pull out from where I colored the last color. These are both very dark colors, but they're significantly different. One is more of a blue purple and like a blue violet, and this one is more of a red violet. And then I'm just following these lines and staying with this curve of the ice cream. I am going to do a little bit under here. And I probably won't do that on all the colors, but definitely on that one. So you see how I'm pulling out where these curves are just a little bit further on each side so you can see where they are? That's why I marked them in the beginning, so I'd know where I wanted those curves to be. Hey, it's good to see you, Carrie. ATCs went out today. I know you're excited to get your ATCs. They were really good this time. Everybody did really great, even with such a vague theme. Everybody did fabulous. So I'm just going to come around the tip of this on the underside just to kind of give me a little bit of darkness there. So you'll see ice cream isn't flat, you know, so these extra little brush strokes I have around here, they'll blend in and it'll be fine. After all, it's handcrafted. So it's all okay. And it's late night, so late night fun. So V17 is the next color, and once I start getting down these colors, you're going to see them change quite a bit. So following the same pattern, this one goes back to a little bit more of the true purple color. It is the third color in my group, so I'm going to use more of it because it's more the true color of what I want the ice cream cone to be. I'm going to have to go over this just one more time because the colors are so much lighter than the darkest ones. And I am using Sweet Sentiment paper and it makes it shimmery and smooth. So easy to blend. I love it. It's the only paper I use now. Just kind of bringing out those lines just a little bit further. When I come from the other way, they'll probably almost meet, if not meet. This is the true color, so I'm going to actually go all the way up the ice cream and kind of bring that out. And then I'm going to go around this part right here where it's curved, because it is curved. It's that sweet little swirl at the top that we all love so much at Dairy Queen. That's what it makes me think of. I can even do that with my ice cream cone when I go somewhere and you have to make your own ice cream. I can make the ice cream curl like that at the top. I love it. So much fun. So look at that. Doesn't that look like yummy ice cream? I wonder what flavor that would be. They don't even have grape ice cream. It's crazy. You guys are quiet. Anybody coloring with me? Does anybody already have this stamp set? Because we're going to do it 2 more times. So if you have it, you have time to stamp it out and color with me. This is V15 is the next color, and it's the second to the last color. So most of this is going to be colored in. See, this one has more of a bright red-ish color to it. And don't worry, I'll blend them out. They look like they don't blend real well right now, but they will when they're done. These, I want them to meet up. The curves, the swirl curves that I put in there from the beginning. I want them to meet up now. Oh, you're just watching tonight? You don't have any ice cream cones? Ice cream is so yummy. It's going to make you all hungry, and everyone's going to want ice cream before they go to bed tonight. I was just watching TV. I was watching movies, and my husband came in and said, "Hey, you going to do a live tonight?" And I said, "Oh, I guess I can, since I'm coloring and watching TV, and I could just have some friends to join me." Ooh, Brahms. I like Brahms too. I know Dad likes Brahms. Yum. I haven't had any ice cream yet, but we did go to Walmart and we did buy, hi Ricky. We did go to Walmart and we did buy butter pecan ice cream for later. Although I shouldn't really be eating it that late, but I might have to just splurge this one time. Because this ice cream will make my mouth water. So now I'm going to fill in the rest of it. And I'm going to kind of do these back and forth strokes. And I am going to press down. You can see the nib moving a lot because I am going to press down quite a bit because I really want to saturate that paper. You see? As it blends out. So pretty. So I'm just going to swoop back and forth, laying down a lot of ink because I really want to saturate that paper. Get that blend going. I'm going to do this one the same way. Really want that color to blend in real well. Now, when I used to use espresso paper, I would have to go over this a couple of times to get that really rich color. But I don't have to with this paper, and that's one reason why I love it so much, is because that really rich, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You're heading to bed? It's been a long week, yeah. I had a long day today too, but I thought, well, it's the weekend and I usually stay up late, so. So what do you think? Isn't that pretty, pretty purple? I love that pretty purple. So that is the ice cream, and now we're going to color the cone. The colors are pretty, aren't they? I love those colors together. So I'm going to use E47, E39, E35. I should move this so you can see it. Oops, upside down. E35. Oh, I'm going to use E55 before 35 because it'll be a little bit darker. So 47, 39, 55, 35, and 53. The paper I'm using is Sweet Sentiment paper. Blackberry ice cream. That's a good one. I hadn't thought of that, but I bet that's good. This is the Sweet Sentiment paper. It's premium cardstock. You can get it in 8.5 by 11, or you can get it in A2 size on the site, which I'll put in the comments after the video. But these are the colors we're going to work with for the ice cream cone. I know it's a big difference for, you know, the E's, 30s, 50s, 40s. But I do, whenever I get ready to color, I always swatch my colors out first to make sure that they work well together. So this was my swatching before the live. It is the best paper ever. And it is sparkly too. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in it when I move it, but you can see it on the colors when I move it around. But yeah, it's super great, and we just ordered more so we would have some in stock. So awesome. We have a little bit now, but if you go now and buy it, we might run out. But it shipped today, so we should be good. This is E47, and I'm going to go around the edges first, just to kind of show the darkness will show the round of the cone. So I'm going to do that top part first on both sides. And then the awesome part is I have a die to cut this out, so I don't have to do all that fussy cutting, which is awesome. And then I'm going to go up underneath this line right here because that's the lip where the cone hangs over. And I want to show the emphasis on that darkness right there. I'm going to do the same thing with this one right here. Really want to show some darkness underneath that. And then I'm going to put a little bit down the sides, which you could build the fence again like that. It just needs to be a really skinny fence. And go along the edges and along the bottom for sure. Bottom. And then down this side of, this is building the fence that I was talking about that makes it a little bit easier to not go out of the lines. It also helps not show your jagged when you touch down every time. Like, can't touch it exactly the same place. So putting that one little line before you start helps make it look like it's a solid line, straight solid line. So just a little bit of the darkest color, and then I'm going to come in with, hi Phyllis, E39, and I'm going to pull out from where I just put that last color, kind of extend it out a little bit, not too much because it's still pretty dark for the ice cream cone, and I don't want the ice cream cone to end up really dark. Oh, your die. Okay, I'll show you how I do it. Yeah, sure. I can definitely do that. So then I'm going to pull out from here. And then I'm going to go under this area that I colored in. And I'm going to go under this one. I'm not going to do that with every color, but I am going to do it with the darkest ones because I really want you to see that shadow color on there. I'm going to move this one out a little bit. And then when I get to the third color, I'm going to fill in the lines to show some shadow effect, but not yet. So the true color, which is the third color I have, is E55. This is the one I chose for being the true base color for my ice cream cone. And so I'm going to use that pretty sparingly, pretty non-sparingly, I guess you would say. So I'm going to just go over these edges one more time just to smooth them out. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. You see how much lighter it's starting to get? That's the way I really, that's the true color of the cone. So I just want to make sure I get all those rough lines out. So see how smooth it is? That's what I'm going for, is getting that really smooth effect. So that's why I went over it a couple of times. You don't want to go over it too many times because then you wash out the color. But you do want to make sure that you go over it enough to make it smooth. You know, unless you don't want a smooth blend, but I'm a blender, so I like smooth blends. So for this one, once I get this blended out pretty smooth, and then I'm going to go underneath all of these lines. Just to show, it'll show a little bit more shadow in there on those lines. So that's why I did that. In case you were wondering, am I pulling the color? I am pulling the color. And washi tape to hold down the dye, I do. I use a tiny piece, but also when I use the washi tape, I always take it and I'll show you. This is my show everybody washi tape. Because I didn't really like this color washi tape. So before I lay it on my dyes, I run it across my hand like once or twice, and then I use it on my paper. And that way it's tacky, but it's not too sticky to where it's going to actually pull up the paper. So I learned that trick on watching YouTube, but I don't really remember who I was watching because we just kind of watched everybody. E35 is the next color. And I'm just going to keep following. I am pulling. If I was pushing, my strokes would be going this way. But since my strokes are coming from the color and going out, then I'm pulling the color out. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm not really pulling it out very far here. But I'm going to go over these lines one more time because I really want that to show that there's a shadow there. And then I'm going to fill in this whole piece right here because it's definitely covered by the part above it. You need that marker holder. My husband's making them. They'll be in the shop soon. They're really, I love them. It makes it so easy when you're doing a live for everyone to see which marker because I always knock the caps over when I sit them down. So I like the holder. It's one of those things where I'll be sitting there one day saying it would be really great to have, and then a day or so later my husband pops up with, how about this? Will this work? And I'm always amazed. And then sometimes there's a few prototypes before we get to the finished, I'll say this is great, but I like this or I like that. And so we'll change the pattern a little bit. This is the last color, so I'm going to fill in the rest. But I don't want to put too much because I want you to still be able to see that shadow on there. So I'll show you kind of up close so you can see. You see how it makes it look like a waffle cone? So that's why I colored it that way. Aw, yay, you like it. So this is my purple ice cream cone. So not exactly. Okay, so Angela said, when I'm using the last color, am I pulling from the edge or just where the second color ends? I would say that in general, when I'm using the last color, I'm actually only going, I would say maybe about halfway. I'm pulling it out like this, but not at the same place every time, because if you go at the same place every time, you're going to get this line right here, and you don't really want that. So it's kind of like a, you know, up and down, like some spots I'm moving a little bit higher up in there and some a little bit lower, so that it's not a definitive line, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you do it yourself, you can kind of see. But if you get that straight line, that means that you're just saturating here too much, and it's washing out the color, and you're losing that mid-tone color. So you want to make sure you just go over it, but not exactly together. So if that makes sense, hopefully that was helpful. It's a little harder to explain, but look at how that looks three-dimensional. It's super cool. Looks really good on the screen. So I'm going to set my purple one aside, and I am going to take out the cone colors, because now we're going to work with a new ice cream cone. So let's go with the blue ice cream cone next. And so for this color, I wanted to mix some blue and green together to give you this really awesome rich color, but not, you know, sometimes you watch videos and people use them all in a sequence, like BG09, 07, 05, 02, 00, like all in a row. So I chose 3 of them in a row, 09, 07, 05, and then I switched the tone to BG34, and they look really different, but I promise they look really good when you when you put them together. And then BG32. So looks a little crazy, blue and green, but wait, you'll wait till you see how it works together. It looks really, really good. So I'm going to take my, since I'm going to end with BG colors, I'm going to take my, I like to pretend I'm coloring, see if you play shadows where I want. Yes, I understand that. BG quadruple 0 is where I'm going to actually draw those really light lines that I talked about with the first one. So just some light lines to show guidelines to where I want that swirl to go. And so if you do this and you get it all wonky or whatever, it doesn't matter, because you're not going to see this color when you finish. So this just gives you the opportunity to make that mistake before it really matters. So sometimes when I'm doing things like this that I know are going to need to have a definitive line, I will draw the line in there first with a really, really light color. I can see it, but you can't see it that well on the screen when it's far away. And then when I color, you can't see it at all. So I do that a lot. And I do that with other things. Other things like when you're doing a background, if you want to like mold the sidewalk or whatever, you'll use the lightest gray and kind of draw in the lines. And then once you color it in, you can't see them. So you can make changes to it before it's down there and you can't do anything about it. So it's just a helpful tip. So we're going to start with BG09. This is going to be a really dark color, but we're going to do the same thing that we did before, but we're going to build our little fence here. I learned that build the fence from someone else. And then I'm going to do these brush strokes away from the corner, but in the same angle that I want the ice cream to go. Like that. I'm going to go along the bottom because I want it really dark down there where it touches the ice cream cone. Then I'm going to build this fence again. I'm going to come out to give me that guideline. Then I'm going to do my brush strokes from the fence out. And see how smooth that looks? I didn't get out of the lines at all, and that's how I prevented that from happening. Not that I won't. You guys might witness, this is live. This is not a recording where I can take it out. This is all true as it goes. So no guarantees, just a hopeful hint that I won't go out of the lines. So there's that one. And so we're just following that same method up the top. Build my little line and then go with the brush strokes. And keep the brush strokes going in the direction you want the ice cream would go, so that you can stay with that, because if you start doing them all different and wonky, it'll look funny and it won't look like real ice cream. So then I'm going to go up here, build my little fence, then I'm going to do my brush strokes out, this, I'm going to do a little bit up the side. And then I'm going to come around to this side. This is kind of a big image, so you do have to go a little bit faster than with the little bitty faces like we did last night, just so that you don't, so that the ink doesn't dry before you're done. Not that you can't wet it again, but then the color becomes darker. So every time you overlap it, it's a darker shade. A little bit up the side, but not too far. Strokes a little bit smaller. We want to do a little bit in here because we want this to be dark down here. And there we go. That's color number 1. Any questions so far? I did want ice cream. Here is BG07. This one's going to be a little bit brighter than the last one. That's actually significantly darker than it looks on screen. See how dark it is when you get it up close? It looks a little brighter down here, I think, because my my light is shining so brightly on it. There we go. That's a little better. And then with BG07, we're just going to, and I don't start all the way back here. I just kind of start here. But again, I'm like, some strokes are going further into it and some strokes are not. So it's just, so I don't want that line. And if I start seeing it looking like a line, see how you can see it on there on this one, then I'll just go over the whole thing. So it just depends. Some markers you can do that with and some you can't. So I'm just pulling out and a little bit further. There we go. Because I want to keep that smooth. This is ice cream. Ice cream is smooth. Smooth ice cream. So I'm going over all the color on this one. Probably won't when I get to the lighter colors, but I definitely am with this one. All the way over the lighter colors. I want to extend that one out just a little bit more. Now I'm going to come from this side. I want to kind of smooth that out. And bring that up a little bit more. And you can't ever color anything exactly the same the second time, so it won't be exactly like the last ice cream, but it will be pretty close. Just pulling it out. And that's what I like about this big image, is you have more room to just work a little faster, make those flicks a little more broad. Just kind of, it's just fun. I like it. I like these ice cream cones. I have so much fun doing these ice cream. I'm going to go up just a little bit further on the ice cream so I can have some flicks coming out on that. I'm going to come out a little bit further on this. I'm going to kind of go to the tip. Look at that. Doesn't it? Have you ever had cotton candy ice cream? I love cotton candy ice cream. If you go to this one place that we go to, I think it's called Marble Slab, they have blue cotton candy ice cream that looks just like this. I think Bluebell does it with blue and pink swirl, but this one is just like Marble Slab. Hi, Kathy. We're coloring ice cream tonight. So this one's BG05. I'm going to go out a little bit further with the BG05, but I'm not going to go all the way back this time. Just going to pull out that color a little bit, blend those two together. Just going to do the same thing with this one. Once you get more towards the inside of the cone, you can move a little faster with it. Just kind of pulling that color out a little bit. It's kind of meditative, huh? You guys watching? You feel meditative? Am I making you sleepy before it's time to go to bed? Is that working for you? Just kidding. It is kind of meditative to watch. I watch Jamie. This is my third color, so this is the true color of the ice cream. So I'm going to do around the edges because I want to hold that true color. Now, usually with the next colors, okay, let me move out on this one just a little bit here. Usually when you're using these colors, when you're mixing blue and green, like we are with this one, the blue and the blue-green, because we're going to do the green next, sometimes you do have to go over the blue with the last green color so that that color is all throughout the whole image. I'll show you what I mean in a few minutes. This is BG34. So I'm just following the same thing, but on this bottom piece right here, I'm just gonna close that up. And then with this one, just gonna go in. See how the colors aren't 100% blending? They will with the next shade that I do. So pulling out from this one, making sure my cone finishes its little swoop, whatever you want to call that. This looks funny. Trust me, it'll be okay when we're done, I promise. But these colors are significantly lighter, so they move the color a lot more. But I promise it'll be okay when we get done. I've colored this certain shade, like this combination, a whole bunch today, so I know how the markers react. So if I show you, I'll give you a sneak peek of what I've been working on. See these fish? These are exactly these very same colors. Look at how pretty they blend so well together. So they look funny until you're completely done. So don't give up. How do I know how much space to leave for the highlight? That's just a personal preference. If you want a big highlight, leave a bigger space. If you want a small highlight, leave a smaller space. If you run out of space, use a white gel pen. Okay, this is my last color, BG32. And I'm going to do that back and forth swooping motion so that I can get a full blend on this. I'm just going to go, and I'm kind of going over some of the other colors, but I want to make sure that I get that solid flow. And you see how much smoother that is? It's just really bringing it together. I want to mix the blue-green in with the blue so that they blend really well, so that's why I'm going over some of the blue that I already did. Just to kind of make sure that I get a little bit of that blue-green in that outside part. So when I finish, wait, hold on, I think I need a little bit more in here. I don't want to do too much because it'll wash out the color, but look. It looks like a blue and green ice cream cone. Isn't that cool? Super duper cool. So smooth and real looking. That is part of the challenge. I'm going to do a little bit more up here because I feel like that isn't blended quite as well. See, better. So much better. So yeah. Most of it is from trial and error. Like, I've just done it so much that I just kind of, there's no real definition where anybody says you have to stop here and you have to stop here. You kind of play with it until you get the really good feel for it. So those are the blue greens. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys like it. So we have purple and blue now. So we have to do our cone because I can't make a card out of this and post it later for you guys if I don't do the cone. So we're back to E47, 39, 55, 35, and 53. So those are the colors that I'm using for this. So we're gonna start with this. You guys have seen this before, but if anybody pulled out their stuff and decided to color along with me, they'll need this help. So we're gonna start over here on the edge and put the darkest color in. We're gonna do it around the edge of the cone to kind of give it that curved shape. Then down here, a little bit. I am going to go all the way across here because I really want to show, and if you want that line really skinny, you got to hold your marker upright to give you that really thin line. You hold your the more you higher up you hold your marker like this, the thinner line you'll get. The more you lay it on the side, the thicker the line. So you'll want to watch for that when you're doing it, when you're practicing your strokes. That's how you get the tinier strokes. The higher up you hold the marker, the tinier strokes you get. From here, then from this edge here, and I'm also going to make this very dark under here. Also, practice will do that for you too. I'm going to do this little fence thingy right here, and then I'm going to pull out from there. Like this. I am going to go along the bottom because it's sitting on the table and I want to show that effect. And I'm going to build this little fence over here. And don't be afraid to turn your paper around if you need to. Some people can do their brush strokes away from them, and some have to do it towards them. It can kind of do it either way tonight. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can. It's really weird, but just whatever works best for you, do that. Either towards you or away from you. There's no, it's not going to change it either way, except if you're better one way than the other. I think I've been doing it so long I can do it both ways, but some days are not so nice to me. So again, I'm kind of going over the first color and pulling out from there. I usually only go over it once, and then my other brush strokes don't go all the way back. So the first one goes over pretty much all of the dark color, and then after that I only go from the edge of the color. Kind of gives you that that better blend without washing out all of that really dark shade. Because we really want that shadow in there. We really want to show that shadow. So just pulling these out. I am going to go over that one more time. I'm going to pull out on these. And on to the next color. Thank you, ladies. I'm glad you like it. I didn't know what I wanted to color tonight. I just knew I needed to get away from the fish again for a little while, but I might show the fish sometime, one night when I'm working on them, because I'll be working on them for a long time. Okay, next color. Now you'll notice with this one, I'm not going all the way back to here. I'm only going about halfway into the previous color, because this one blends really well together, so I don't really need to go all the way back to get that blend. And you'll be able to tell when you're doing it just by the way that it looks. If you go over it and there's huge difference and it's not blending really well, then you'll want to swoop over the color ones. But give it a second. I love these ice cream cones too. I'm glad you like them, Mickey. Give it a second because it really does do some of the blending magic on its own. So sometimes you gotta let it sit. You just gotta stop, let it sit for a second. It will blend on its own, and then you can move on from there. This is our third color. So this is like our true color of the picture. So if you remember the last time, we're just blending out that harsh line just to soften it up a little bit. And then we're going to do the shadow on those stripes. I'm not sure if this is the same way Jamie does it, but this is the way Sandy does it. Hi, Amanda. So I'm going to go the underside of each one of these stripes that I drew in here for you guys to help. So you wouldn't have to make your own lines. It's a little hard to make the straight lines, so I put them in there to make it easier for the person who was coloring it. So I'll bring it up closer so you guys can kind of see how it gives that waffle effect. We want it to look like it's got that little waffle to it. Hey, Amanda. I hope you're doing well. This one is E35. And we're going to come in here, kind of go over those colors. Sort of went back a little bit further on this one, and it's because this color is slightly dark compared to the last color. So you could probably reverse these colors if you wanted, but I didn't. So it's a really brief, quick go over it. It's not a real heavy saturation. It's really, really light because I want to leave a lot of that shadow in there. But I do use this one to fill in that one teeny tiny line down there. This teeny line right there. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it seems like this pen holder is going to be a real big hit. Everybody seems to like it a lot. I think it's really helpful when you're doing a live. E53 is my next color. They'll be in the shop soon. And I'm going to do that back and forth that I was telling you about earlier. Kind of giving it a little bit more ink on the paper to kind of saturate it a little heavier so that it'll just blend that out smoothly. So now we're going to wait and watch it. I'm going to move down here. Kind of come out from where these last lines were. Same thing over here. And this harsh line right here. And then I'm just going to kind of swoop really fast over those because I want to leave that waffle effect on there. Let me just blend that one out a little bit more. I think this one needs just a tad bit more here in the center. This one right here seems to be a little booger there. There we go. We might need a little bit more over this, so I'm just going to swoop it one fast time. And then, there we go. So let me show you a trick. If you get it like this and it doesn't show quite as well as this one did, this one really looks waffled. If you get it like this and it doesn't show the effect, I mean, you can still see it. It's just not as prominent as the last one. You can use your colorless blender very lightly. Be generous. Be careful. Be cautious. Cautious, not generous, cautious. And you can go in here and you can just swoosh. See, we put the line right there for the shadow, and you would just go in there and just a little bit of movement on each one of those little squares will bring that back. Let me show you. See? You can see it in these top ones that I did better than you can see it down here, because I used the colorless blender to push that color back. So you can still get the effect that you want even if you put a little bit more on there than you wanted to. These are just the little tricks that come in handy. You don't want to put too much, because then you'll really wash out that color, and we don't want to do that. But we want, so here we go. Right back in there is that cone look. Super cool, huh? We have one more ice cream cone. Everybody, oh, thanks. Everybody ready? The last one is going to be the strawberry cone. So this is our cotton candy. And what did we say this one was? Blackberry? Is that what you said? Blackberry and cotton candy. And one more. I'm going to take my cone colors out again. And this one is going to be a strawberry. So E59. Sorry, R59. E would not make strawberry. R37. R85. R34. And R83. So again, tonight what we're trying to do is just show you ways to mix some of the colors when they don't go in a straight order. So those that joined later, I was telling earlier that I make this little color swatch right here so I can, well, I know I've already colored the purple ice cream, blueberry, or blackberry, we're going to call that blackberry. And then I colored the cotton candy, but we're going to do another one in a strawberry color. So if you miss the first two, you're still going to get to see the whole thing on the strawberry one. So you're not too late. It's never too late. But what I was saying is we're going to do these not in a regular sequence, so you can see how they mix together. I like mixing colors that don't match. That don't match easily. Because that makes it fun. So what are we going to do before we start? We are going to take our lightest shade, so our quadruple 0, and we're going to draw in these swirl lines so we know where we want them to be while we're coloring the darker colors. So this is just mark in the paper. It's really light, so it won't be a problem. You won't see it when we get done. That way, if you make a mistake, let's say you went from this one to this one, you could fix that now rather than once you start putting the color in. So this is just a way to, a guide for you to be able to mark where you want that to be. And it's, this one you can see just a little better than the last ones on the screen. But it's just a light guide for you. I just would say choose the base color that you're doing and then choose the lightest in that realm. Oh yes, exactly. You like that because you don't have all the consecutive marker numbers. Exactly. And that's the whole thing, is you don't have to have them all in consecutive. It does make it easier when you're a beginner, but if you don't have them all, you can still blend them. And that's why I chose to pick colors that didn't go in a sequence necessarily, to show you that you can take your colors and even cross them, like the blue and the blue-green. They still look really pretty together. So first I'm going to build this little wall right here. And I'm going to curve this out in the direction of that very light line that I drew. And along this bottom right here, I'm going to hold my pen up a little bit higher so I can get a thin line. And then I'm actually going to come up from here. So I'm not actually going to, that's where I want my first curve to be. So then I'm going to do my brush strokes from the outside, like this. And then I'm going to do the brush strokes in this little sliver piece right here. Just to kind of give me, and you see how you can now see, and here I'll say, I got mixed up with the times. What you said your time now, I want to make sure I know the difference. You mean like currently, when I said it was 10:15, that's Central Time. So if you're in Mountain Time, I believe it's an hour behind us. And if you're in Eastern, you're 2 hours behind us. So if it's 10 for me, it's either 9 for Mountain or it's 8 for Eastern. Is that what you were talking? I think that's what you were talking about. 12. So I'm going to go along this edge right here. Pull out my line. We're doing these, oh, did I say it wrong? 12, 14 here now. 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. Oh, okay. So I was off a little bit. So I never said I was good with time. But I do try to put CT after it so you guys know I mean Central Time. But I'm not real good with the time zones. Ask Jamie, because I'm always texting her after she went to bed. I'm always texting her, and she's like, girl, you know I was sleeping. Eastern is an hour behind us. Well, so isn't Jamie Mountain Time? She's an hour behind me, too. I don't know. Honestly, I thought I had it right, but I guess I don't. I use I go out on, an hour ahead. Oh, I see. Okay, so I had Eastern wrong. Eastern wasn't 2 hours. I can ask you to. I never get when it's, I never can get it right. I have to actually write it down or I Google it. I say, if it's this time Central Time, what is it Mountain Time? What is it Eastern Time? I do that so much, I probably have it saved in my Google Drive, that site. I'm just not good at it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not good at it. I can color. I can't tell you what time the time zones are. I can tell you what Arizona is because my son lives in Arizona. I can tell you what time it is where Jamie is because she gets mad at me when I text her too late. Well, she doesn't get mad, but you know what I mean. She's like, girl, you need to get it right. Plus, when she came here to visit, I kept her up till 2 o'clock in the morning. So she was like, what are you doing to me? I was like, I'm always up till 2. What are you talking about? She was like, I'm never up that late. I'm kind of building a little horseshoe here. You see that? Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. I think when I go live at night, it will almost always be 10 o'clock Central Time. Or 10:15, right about 10:15 or so, because that's when things wind down here. I know they do not have a daylight savings adjustment, so my son gets confused a lot. He doesn't think my time ever changes. So sometimes I'm 1 hour ahead of him, and sometimes I'm 2 hours ahead of him. So sometimes he calls me, when he works the night shift, he calls me really early in the morning, and I'm like, dude, I'm sleeping. But, yeah, he can't remember. See, you don't go to bed till 2 a.m. either. See, I'm not the only one that stays up late. I'm a night owl. So I told Jamie, I go, maybe people will want to do some night owl coloring. And I get that's not going to be good for everyone. But I thought, well, some of those can catch Jamie's during the day when she does it, and then others will still have the opportunity to catch a live when I do it, if I do it late at night. So, just trying to catch everybody, give everybody a chance to have some coloring live. So build that little wall. I'm keeping that form going with the ice cream. I am a big time night owl. Sometimes on the weekends I'm up till 4. It's insane. And then I have insomnia to top that. So sometimes I'm not sleeping at all. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, oh, I might sleep for an hour. I never go to sleep. I just stay awake. Oh no. That was not good to switch the time to Jamie's live. Ugh. See, it's only 9:20. That's great for California, and you know we're going to be in California in March, so it will be great for me, although I can stay up later, but then getting up early in the morning won't be fun. So I'm going to move to R37. R59 is pretty dark. R37 is going to be significantly lighter, but that's good because we're going to go into a mauve color after this. So this doesn't look like strawberry ice cream, but it might when it's done. We're going to go Pleasanton. Pleasanton? Is that how you say it? Pleasanton? To the expo in Pleasanton, the weekend of March 3rd and 4th. Sweet Sentiment will have a booth at the Pleasanton. But don't worry if you're not there. We're also going to Sacramento and Ontario this year. So we'll do during all 3 locations. So if you miss us at one, you'll see us at the other. You see how much lighter this is? I'm just pulling out from the previous color. And if you noticed, on the blue color, I had to go all the way to the back over it. And this one, I don't. So I'm only going just a little bit over the last color. So it just kind of depends on how the color behaves. This one blends a lot better. So it looks really good. Oh, hi, Sarah. Yeah, we're excited to be going to Pleasanton. We haven't been there yet. We have been to Sacramento and Ontario already, but we have not been to Pleasanton. So we're a little excited too. Yes, there's an Ontario, California, not Canada. At first, last year when Jamie said we were going to Ontario, I was like, Canada? I want to go to Canada. And she was like, oh no, girl, that's in California. I got educated on that last year. So, but we are looking to get to Canada. Our problem is there was a show we were going to go to this year in Canada, but we couldn't make it because it fell at the same time as one of our expo shows, and we had already paid for the expo show, so we missed out on Canada. But we're hoping to do Canada next year. So keep your eyes peeled and watch for the watch on the site, because we'll let everybody know at Sweet Sentiment when we're going to Canada. So, but we have a lot of followers in Canada, so we definitely want to get out there and meet all those sweeties as well. And if you guys hanging out with me at night, we'll kind of already know each other, so that'll be fun. So I'm just going around where the darkest shade was and just kind of blending that out a bit. So it's starting to look a little more strawberry. Maybe next year. Jamie and I want to visit all 50 states, so we're on a mission. We are on a mission. Oh, hi, Leah. I started doing a few random spontaneous lives at night to catch all those night owls to hang out with me. Oh, yeah, Dale's making these. Dale is my husband. He's the other half of Ledoux Designs. And he created this marker holder for us. And he's going to, he's currently printing them right now. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it is actually literally currently printing right now. So he's trying to get them all ready so we can ship them to Jamie and get them in the shop for you guys. They've been printing all day. Oh, your sister's doing wood burn. So awesome. We actually have the laser cutter now, so we're making all the stencils in-house here at Ledoux Designs. This one is R85. So it's significantly lighter, and you'll be able to see that it's lightening up this color to make it more strawberry-ish, if you will. Yeah, so it's been really, really big experience learning to do the stencils in-house, but you know, we just couldn't get them on time. They were so late and we were missing the releases. Yes. Okay, so how do you know when to stop or go over it? Because going lighter sometimes looks washed out. It does sometimes look washed out. So you have to, first I test the colors together. And so if you can see on this one right here, I could tell that the two colors were going to wash each other out. So I have to be really cautious about how much ink I put down to make sure I don't put too much to wash it out. You can always go back in with the previous color, but then that makes the whole image darker. So do simple ones like circles, squares, hexagons on plastic that isn't working well. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For reals. I think this one is actually really, so when you first do it, see how it doesn't really blend as well, and I went all the way back to here, but when I come back through on the next round, I just pretty much go right on this line just to get that to blend out a little better. You see how better that worked? So I don't go all the way back into it multiple times because that will mess it up. But if you go over it the first time and then just where the two of them meet, it will blend the color without washing it out. If that makes sense. Try that. I bet that will help a lot. Because otherwise, yeah, I did that a lot of times when I was coloring in the beginning. So since this is my third color, it's my true color, so I'm doing I'm a little bit, I use quite a bit more of it. So depending on how, you see how that worked? Hi, Mary. Try that. I bet that will help a lot. So just a little bit over just that line, where that line was, and then you get a smooth color. So I'm going to go over this just here because I had already started on this side once. So there we go. So see, I go way back about to here, and then the second time I'm only going to about right there where the line is. You see how easy that blended the two together? Yes, because Sweet Sentiment paper is awesome. I love it. And it's so much easier to work with, I think. I don't have to lay as much ink on the paper.
Can I do my lazy version?
And my husband liked the ice cream cone so much, he did a laser cut, paper cut version of this ice cream cone as a stencil. Because, you know, we got the laser cutter, so he wanted to play around with it. You know, because if I draw the images, then he can do whatever he wants with them. Exactly, exactly. You use a lot less ink because you don't have to keep going over it. So the first was R59, R37, R85, and now we're on R34. and then we're going to hit it with R83 at the end. Oh, Mary, you're going to love it. It takes a little, I won't lie, it takes a little bit of getting used to if you're already used to a different paper. So, for instance, I was an Express It snob. That's what I call it, because I wouldn't touch any other kind of paper. And Jamie said, I got this new paper that I came up with, and I want you to test it for me. And I was like, okay, but I really like Express It. And so you're missing R59. Maybe I could undercolor R37, or you could use R39. Use R39. You could get away with R89, but you may have to tip because it's just much significantly darker. So, oh, here, I was going to show you this. So my husband made this stencil because he thought it would be really awesome to do this in layers. So look, there's the cone. And then there's the waffle and the top. And then there's the other one for more shadow and the lines in the cone. And then those are the ones that go on the ice cream cone like this. So he did this whole stencil thing and like layered them all out. And then where's the one that you did, honey? Look in here. It's in here somewhere. It's in one of these. Oh, here it is. I found it. So this is what it makes. He used oxides with it because he thought it would be super fun to make the ice cream cone, but he can't color, so. Yeah, you don't have Copics. Prismacolors, yeah, they just take a little bit longer to color with. I don't do Prismacolors that much. I do have them. I can't really get myself away from the Copics because you get your results a little bit faster than you do when you pencil color. So this is R34, and this is going to be a different pink. So I'm just going to pull out a little bit more, but I want to make sure I make these lines prominent, but I'm going to leave just a little teeny bit of white space in there. But this color blends really well with the last color. You see how smooth that blends? And I'm just going to come out with this one. I'm going to take that whole line all the way across. Same with that one. I'm going to leave I'm just leaving a little bit of white in there for my highlight. To R34 or R83. 85 isn't going to be dark enough. Besides, 85 is in the sequence. So 59, 37, 85, 34, 83. So 89 to 85 is kind of a big jump. So sometimes I have to tip to tip. Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to tip to tip? I did it last night on my live. I could show it again tonight if you wanted. So there's the R34. And then R83 is going to be pretty light. Okay, I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, so R83 is our last color, and I'm going to do that back and forth motion that I showed before, just to give that solid coating of that last color. And I'm going to do that all the way up. I do it 2, sometimes 3 times, just to make sure the blend gets really good. Kind of give it that rest moment so you can let it finish blending. So once, twice, and then move on, and then you can always go back over it one more time if you need to. Because this color will wash out the rest a little bit, so you don't want to do it too awful much, but there you go. This one, probably want to lighten this one up a little bit, so see, if I just keep going over this, it's going to wash it out. See? And then I have those pretty colors. So now we have to do this ice cream cone. Oh, you do it all the time because you don't have the markers in the colors that you need? I'll show you the tip to tip when we do the ice cream cone, because we could do the same thing. So the ice cream cone colors I chose were R47. I mean, oh my goodness, E47. It looks like a raspberry. It's super pretty. Yummy. I have E39, E55, E35, and E53. So those are the colors that I chose. I'm going to take out E55 this time, and we'll tip to tip with these two to get us that in-between color. Okay? So we're going to start with our... You had a cat on your desk. E47. I don't have a cat. Oh, you use the Prismacolor alcohol markers. I haven't used those. I can honestly say I've not used those before. How do you like them? No, I don't want a cat. My husband would not allow that. I had a cat a long time ago, like before I ever even knew my husband. But he's not an animal. He's not an animal person, and let me just tell you, I had to go through a lot just to get the dog we have. We had two, but Missy, she passed away a couple of years ago. And he says no more. He says when Jack's gone, that's it. I'll have to work really hard if I decide I want him to change his mind. You'd even bring a Jamie. No dogs. I mean, no cats. No cats at all, because we have a dog. And he's really spoiled. Okay, so now we're going to do this line like we talked about earlier. It's kind of like building a wall or a fence. It makes it easier for us when we do these very small strokes from the edge to keep from going over, because we've already built that wall there. Cats are finicky a little bit. They can be a bit finicky. Building that wall, and then just these teeny tiny little strokes coming out from the wall to show shadow, and then a thin line up underneath here. So there's the beginning of our cone. Yeah, the lighter colors are a little harder for me too, because it's not really, I like the bold colors, so lighter colors are harder for me as well. I know some people that can do the light colors really well, but not me. I like bold. So E39, just pulling out from the previous color. Same thing all the way down here, just pulling out from the last color. Swooping the bottom, the side. Want to go along this really dark line here. Yeah, I use oxides if I want to make them soft. Because I'm not very good. I really would like to try those Prismacolor alcohol markers though. I've never tried them before. I wonder how well they work. I've tried a few different alcohol markers. I've tried some of the generic ones in the, out there. And I wasn't a fan. And then I tried, what's the other ones called? I can't think of what they're called now. the ones everybody else uses. I'm having a brain toot and I can't remember what they're called, but okay, so we skipped E55. So when we do this E35, we might have a difference between the two. Actually, this one actually blends really well too. But let's just say you see this area right here where you can see that line right there. If you take your lighter color, which is E35, and your darker color, which is E39. Oh, I'm so glad that we could visit while you're hanging out. And you just rub on the tip of the darker shade and then lay that color down where that line meets. Then that it just takes that line away because you now have a color between the two. So that's how the tip to tip works. It helps with that blending out between two colors that are too far apart. This one actually got a lot of light up there. There we go. So it helps to blend those colors together. And then you just put your E39 away. You just wipe with your 35 just to make sure you have all the dark color that you picked up. And then you just keep going. If we run into that issue again, I'll get it out, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. So since this is the second to the last color, I'm going to do my lines here for my shadow effect. Don't know why I just swirled my marker around in my hand, but I do that every now and then. I don't really know why. And then I'm going to shade in this little teeny tiny lip right there because that's going to be up underneath the cone. You know how the cone sticks out? You know, if you've had a cone like that, you know what I mean. And then E53 is our last color. I left a little more on this one than I did on the others, so we'll see how that goes. Can't ever repeat them exactly the same. I don't know why that is, but so I'm going to pull out from this side and then from this side and then just kind of swoop back and forth to fill that in. Going to do the same thing with this one. Going to go from each side. Ooh, this one might need a tip to tip. Then I'm going to swoop back and forth here. Actually, maybe not. Let's do one more time. And I think it looks good. I think we're good. So then this one I'm going to pull out from this edge like this, doing it a little more freely because this is my last color in my combo. I'm going to do the same thing with this side. I'm going to come in here and really saturate underneath there because I want that to be dark. And then I'm going to do the back and forth swoosh to just put a light layer on there. And then when I hold that cone up, you can see the waffle to it. You see that? And it was so easy. It kind of tricks your eye. It looks like the center part is pushed back when really all I did was put a line here, and then colored it in. So we have 3 ice cream. So that, I'm going to put this marker away. And then I'm going to show you, honey, can you turn on the Gemini for me, please? Because we're going to die cut real quick. Okay, so we have 3 ice cream. Woohoo! Doesn't that look yummy? Isn't that blue awesome? You want to see that quick blue combo real quick? BG 09, 07, 05, and BG 34 and 32. Oh, I'm so glad you like them. The purple was BV 08, V 09, V 17, V 15, and V 04. You're missing 32. Yikes. You kind of need the 32, but I bet there's another one you can use in place of that. Okay, so I have the Gemini. So there's a whole bunch of layers to the Gemini. So when I cut with the Gemini, and I heard that when you cut with everything, that that you're supposed to always cut with your die up. So always with your die, with the cutting part up, face up. Well, you can't really do that and line up an ice cream cone. I mean, it's just not going to work that way. So what I do is it helps to lay it on my magnetic mat, but I line up where I want that die to be. So just like that. The BV08, yeah, that's the darkest one, but you could try BV17. Do you have BV17? So I'm going to take this piece of washi tape and I'm just going to rub it on my hand and then pull it off. And then I'm going to rub it on my hand a second time and pull it off. And then I'm going to use that to stick this down to my paper so it doesn't tear my paper. And I'm going to do one on each side down here and one over here. And then I can take it and just flip it over and lay it on there. And then I sandwich it just like we do with all the other ones. Look how used my mat is. And then stick it in the machine. Wait, you need a new, oh, you do need a new car. I saw your car pictures. I'm so glad you're okay. Put it in and it just goes itself, honey. Yep. My helper's here. These are the images we colored last night. I cut them out, but I haven't made a card out of them yet. But I'm going to. Those are the ones we colored last night. They're ready to go. Okay, so it comes off like this. So then I can just take this off gently, of course. And then this one, sometimes it tears the paper, but I mean not the paper, it tears the tape because it's so weak from me rubbing it on my hand, so it won't tear the paper, but it will sometimes tear itself. And then I take this piece off like that, and it doesn't tear my paper or anything. And then my ice cream cone is all cut out for me. And that's why I rub it on my hand first, so it doesn't tear the paper, because if I take any washi tape straight to, if I just take it straight off the roll and stick it on there, it tears my paper every time. It doesn't matter what washi tape I use. Hey, bring it back over here, babe, so we can cut out the other two, so we can put them here together. Let's cut these out too. And sometimes you can use the second, you can use the tape again, but not as much as if you've rubbed it on your hand, because it's not that sticky anymore. And you don't have to stick it to the image. You really only have to stick it on the die and the paper on the outside. So, yeah, low-tech painter's tape. I've tried all kinds. I've tried the frog tape. I've tried the light-tech frog tape. I've tried the painter's tape. I think maybe I press it down too hard or something. Oh, hi, Amy. You were hooked. You don't have Copics yet. Oh, but you're gonna love them so much when you get them. Here's our blue and our red ice cream. And we're gonna be in Schaumburg again this year. So maybe we'll see you again. Thank you. One more. We're gonna cut out the other one too. So we have all our ice cream cut out. Voila. I'm going to actually try to use this tape. Nope, not going to be able to. This tape, I hate this tape. That's why I'm using it to cut my dies. And I don't use it for anything else because this washi tape is yucky. And it's almost gone. So I'm almost done with it. Thank goodness for that. Oh, yay! You're going to be there. Woohoo! We like it when we get to meet people. We love those expo shows. They're so much fun. We're doing the Make and Take this year. The Thursday Make and Take. And we'll have a Make and Take at the booth again. And at Schaumburg, I don't think that we had, if you did the Make and Take with us, the little box that we made with the hand sanitizer, if you did that, we now have a die cut for that open box. We now have an open box die. So that
Someone asked why you cut it backwards.
Oh, why I cut it backwards? Did somebody ask me why I cut it backwards? I've heard that you're always supposed to cut it with the blades up, but with the Gemini, the instruction manual actually says not to cut it, not to cut it down, but to cut it up. So I do it just because that's the way they said and this Gemini, it doesn't matter how many dies I put on there, it cuts every one every time. So that's one reason I love this Gemini. But I also follow the instructions that it said, if it says cut it up, I cut it up. So that's why I do. But I never did it with the Big Shot, but then, it didn't always cut for me. Yes, the hand sanitizer. Oh, yay, you still have it. So we made we made a die cut for that. Honey, can you grab that out of the cabinet?
What?
The box die, the open box die. Look at that. Yes, try it backwards because I've heard it works a lot better. I mean, I don't remember now. I put my Big Shot away when I got my Gemini out that, by the way, I had for about a year and a half before I ever used it. But look at how well they cut out. They look so good. And this is the open box die that I was talking about. So because everybody liked it so much in Schaumburg, I created the die cut for it. So it cuts out the whole box. And then this one cuts out the belly band, and then I put in some little extra things to embellish with. So yeah, so we sell this in the shop now. I know a lot of people were asking only if you could eat them. You're going to need that. It's in the shop. I'm going to put the link to the shop in this live after we end the live. But yeah, it makes it a lot easier than doing the measurements, which we did when I came to Schaumburg. But don't they look like real ice creams? Don't you want to eat them? I do. We actually have ice cream, so yum, yum. Look, if I only had an ice cream cone this big. There you go. Leah put the link in there. Good job. That's the link. So what do you think? Was that fun? Should we keep doing some late night lives with Lidu? Yes. Yay. And then here's some more of those blue ones. These are what I'm working on now. This is what I'll be doing when we get off the live. I'll be working on these blue fish. And these are the same colors as this one. So for this one, I just used the dark tones on the stripes, and then on these stripes I used the blue-green. So they kind of all went together. But this is my favorite one. Look at this one. Those are your colors. Oh, I'm glad you guys like this late night because I'm always up late. So this works great for me too. So the ice cream cone, one more time, the die came from this set right here. Let me put the die back in there. This is how I store mine in case you guys haven't seen. This is my ice cream monsters. The ice cream cone is in there along with these cute little monsters. This one is actually in the ice cream cone. Those are not from Christy. No, ma'am. Those are me. I drew these images. So these are mine. I was the designer for these. And then the dies come with it. So I store mine with the stamp set on one side. And these are actually business card magnets that you can buy on Amazon. And they're sticky on one side and not on the other. And so I just stick the magnet on here and put them there. Oh, the fish. Yes, the fish are Christy. Yes, the fish are Christy. Cute buggers eating ice cream. Aren't they cute? I love them so much. And these are Avery L envelopes. And then if I have a stamp set that has a die with it, I put this little sticker on here. And then when I'm going through my stamps, I know just by looking at that sticker that I have the die that matches on the back. So I know his tummy. He's so cute. These ones are really good to practice eyes because you can do all the different colors and they're big enough for you to play with the eye colors. So maybe we'll do that next week, late night next week. Like Monday or Tuesday. We'll do these little guys so you guys can see how to color them when they're all one and how to do the eyeballs. So does anybody have any other questions or anything else? I promise I'm going to make cards out of these and then I'm going to post them. But these will be on one card. These girls, these friends are going to be on one card. And then this ice cream is going to be on another, probably a birthday card. This one will probably be a birthday card. Ooh, these ice cream. Okay, you want that stamp? Yay! It's so cute and it's so much fun to play with. And you can use it for any occasion at all. But I might actually use, remind me, how old are you pretending you are? That might be a good sentiment. The other one is happy birthday to you, which might also be good. I could even put it like right over the ice cream cones. That's what I envision. That's what's popping into my head. So I'll work on these cards over the weekend so I can post them for you guys for both of these images. And then we'll color next week. Well, not Saturday or Sunday, but Monday. We'll start up Monday. How does that sound? Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm super glad to be able to do these late night lives with you guys. And I will see you next week. Thank you and bye.